Thank you, Manu, for reminding me. Yeah, please let me know before we start the today's session. Please let me know, are you comfortable with the previous concepts, the fundamentals which we have discussed? These are the fundamentals which we have discussed. Need for programming, what is programming, evolution of programming paradigms and languages, the two basic elements of any program, functional units of a computer, memory addressing, which is a very, very important concept, and then variable, it's a name given to memory location. If these concepts are clear, let us understand structure of C program today and C compiler. Please let me know in the chat box. So if there are no doubts, let us move on. Let us understand structure of C program. Shall we move on? Yeah, please let me know. Shall we move on? Okay. Right. So I've already shared my screen. So please observe the structure of C program we will discuss today. So friends, any C program will basically contain three parts, right? Part one is header files. Header files, you know very well what is a header file, hash include stdio.h, like that you will type, right? So I'll tell you what is a header file, but part one is header file. Then comes your main function. Then comes your main function. Please wait a minute. I'm getting a call from your head. Right, sorry. So friends, please observe, there are three parts. The structure of C programs. C program contains, header files followed by a main function and optional UDFs. UDF stands for user defined function, right? We can also create our own functions. So UDF means user defined functions. They are optional, right? In some programs you may write your own functions, and in some programs, small programs, user defined function may not be there. That's the reason I clearly wrote optional UDF. So header file will be there, followed by main function, then optional UDF. So friends, before I explain you this particular diagram called as a structure of C program, let me tell you what is a function, right? So I am not teaching you this PPS refresher course with an assumption like you all know everything and maybe I'm just doing a refresher course. It's not like that. We will cover each and everything. So before understanding this diagram, one should know what is a function. Function is a block of code. What is function? It's a block of code. Now coming to this diagram, header file. What do you mean by header file? Means in C language, there are lots of built-in functions, library functions, which are available in C compiler, right? So based on their application, based on their purpose, they are grouped together into different files. For example, to find sine theta, cos theta, tan theta values, you have some functions already available in C compiler. Similarly, you have functions to find a power b. To find square root, you have a function. Like that, there are lot of built-in functions available to perform various mathematical operations. So all the functions which are related to mathematical operations, they are grouped together and kept in a file called as math.h. So what is header file? Header file is a file which contains group of related functions. Like math.h contains all math related functions. Similarly, friends, you have printf, scanf, right? These kind of functions which are related to input output, they are available in another header file called as stdio.h. Stdio stands for standard input output dot h. So friends, remember, header files extension will be .h, stdio.h, like that. So what are header files? Header files are files which contains lot of related built-in functions are stored in these header files. So what we have to do is, if we want to use any one of this built-in function, you have to include that header file to your program. You have to include that header file to your program. That's the reason the very first part of the C program is inclusion of header files. We will type a program, we will see all those things in detail with suitable examples, right? So programming is very interesting, and programming is important, and programming becomes interesting only when it is taught in detail, and only when it is learned with a lot of interest and patience. So please follow my classes regularly. Definitely it will be useful to you. So header file is nothing but a file which contains built-in functions. So lot of header files are there. Math.h is there, stdio.h is there, conio.h is there. Conio stands for console input output.h. Our very popular functions like clear screen, get ch, you find them in console input output.h header file. So friends, similarly, you have header files like file.h is there, right? Stdlib, standard library, string, lot of header files are there. Depending upon the usage, whatever functions you are using in your program, it's suitable, it's appropriate header file should be included. That's the reason inclusion of header files becomes part one of the C program. Now, friends, second one is the main function. Name itself says main function. It's very important, because execution of your C program begins from main function. So you can't imagine a C program without main function. Please remember, you cannot imagine a C program without main function, right? However, in some interviews, people will ask some tricky questions. They may ask you like, can you write a C program without main function? Yes, it is possible, but it is not useful, right? Generally, C program execution begins from main only. But if you really, want to test a C program, that means you want to run something, you want to generate some output, but without main function, yes, it is possible. There is a method, there is a mechanism, but it is only for interview point of view. So people will ask you this kind of question, because what you have done in your entire PPS lab experience is, you have written all C programs wherein your program begins with main and ends at main. Without main, you have not written any single program. That is the reason in interviews they will ask, can you write a program without using main? And immediately your answer will be no. Actually, we can do it. So only for the interview point of view, it is useful. But really, to write a C program, we always prefer to write it in main with can I write a C program without main means it is possible, but it is not really useful at all, right? So keep this point in mind. We will come back to this one. So main function is compulsory, sir. Main function is very, very important. Then the user defined functions. We can also write our own functions, right? User defined functions. In functions topic, you might have created functions like factorial to find Armstrong numbers. You might have written a function factorial of a number. Fibonacci series, you might have written a function. So those functions are optional. If you want, you can write user defined functions, and if you don't want, you can avoid them also. But so basically this is the structure. Now moving on, before we move on, any doubts till now, please let me know in the chat box. Please don't hesitate. Right. So shall I move on? No doubts. If you have any doubts, type in the chat box. Don't hesitate. Yeah, we'll move on. This is a very, very important diagram. Probably, it's not, the content is not clearly visible, but let me explain you how a C compiler works. So first of all, what is a compiler, friends? Compiler is a program which converts high level source code. The code which we write is called as a source code. So obviously we have discussed basics of a computer. We have seen what is a computer. It's an electronic device. You all know it understands only instructions which are in the form of ones and zeros. So I can't write commands or instructions using ones and zeros. So we prefer using high level languages. So the code which I wrote is called as source code. So this source code can't be directly understood by the computer, means processor can't understand your C program as it is. Processor understands only machine language or binary language, which is nothing but the instructions given using ones and zeros. So what is required? Our C compiler should convert high level source code into machine code or the binary code. So how exactly it is done? Let us understand through this diagram, and if you have any doubts, please let me know. This is very, very important. So friends, if you observe in this, there is some code written. If A less than B something, then a do while loop. Please observe this one. There is some high level code is written. So what is the job of the compiler? Compiler has to check for the syntax, because the way English language has got a grammar, similarly programming languages will also have certain grammar, which we call it as syntax. Means you need to follow that syntax, right, or the grammar of the language. So first of all, what C compiler will do, it will check whether this program which you have written, this source code which you have written, this is nothing but our .c file, sir. The file which .c extension, right? So the program which we have written will be checked for syntax errors by the compiler. Are there any syntax issues here? If there are no syntax errors, if there are no syntax errors in the source code, then the compiler will generate object code. So there is a misconception. Many people will say compiler converts source code into machine code directly. It's not like that. It's not like that, right? Compiler will generate object code. There are two steps in it, not machine code directly. It will not be generated. There are two steps. Please observe. So what compiler will do? Compiler will generate object code. What do you mean by object code? It is machine code only, sir. But whatever code you have written, no, only that code will be converted into binary. But there is something else. Hash include stdio.h you have written, right? So hash include stdio.h contains what? It is a header file which contains your printf, scanf, and all other useful functions. So that linking has to be done. That link, that header file should be linked to your program. So step one, what will happen is C compiler will convert the code which you have written into machine code. It is called as object code or object file. It is not executable because that hash include part is not yet added in the object code. That is an important point. And in C program, when you type that hash symbol, right, hash include stdio.h, that hash symbol is called as linker. Hash symbol is called as linker. So what it does, it will link. See the bottom of the diagram, library files means nothing but our header files. So what linker will do, it will link this .h files and our machine code together. Means it will combine the machine code generated by my program. Suppose I wrote 5 lines of code, that 5 lines of code will be converted into machine code, which we call it as object code. But I have included, let us say, two header files, hash include stdio.h, hash include math.h. Then these two header files will be linked with the help of hash symbol. That hash symbol is called as linker, my dear friends. So when both are combined, that code is called as executable code. That code is called as executable code. So C compiler generates executable code in this manner. Right? Now please let me know whether this diagram is clear or not. Please let me know. Is it clear? Just type in the chat box. Is the diagram clear to everyone? Please do respond. I don't know whether you are there or not. Okay, Charita. That's fine. So friends, let us see with an example. Let me save this with the name hello.c. Okay, please observe here, hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, void main, void main, printf hello, printf world, then get ch, clr scr to clear the screen. Now observe this code and let me know how many lines of code I have actually typed. How many lines of code I have typed? 2, void main 3, flower bracket 4, 4 plus 4, 8, 9 lines of code I have typed. Am I correct? Now what C compiler will do is alt compile. Now can anyone observe and tell how many lines got compiled, sir? How many lines got compiled? 464 lines got compiled. Did I type 464 lines of code? Did I type 464 lines of code? I did not type 464 lines of code. So friends, what happened? What happened is, what happened is, I typed only 9 lines of code or 10 lines of code. In that, one line is empty. So 9 lines of code I typed. Remaining 453 lines or 455 lines of code, from where did I get it? That is the code which is present inside stdio.h as well as conio.h. Okay. That's the reason. Did you notice the number of lines compiled are 464? Now, friends, what will happen is, what compiler will do is, are there any errors in this program? Were there any errors? There were 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now, what compiler will do is, please observe, void main, open flower bracket. This code which I have written, the code which I have selected, or the code which I have written, this part will be converted into machine code, sir. This part will be converted into machine code in step 1, which is called as object code. It is called as object code. But this code which is there inside header files is not yet added. So in the next step, what it will do, it will also add the code which is there in .h files, header files. Even that machine code will be combined with the code which I have written. Together it is now called as executable file. So friends, there are two steps. What compiler will do? First, it will generate object code which contains machine code version of the code which you have written, but the header files are not yet added. In the next step, it will add .h files code, machine code of .h files to our program. Then it becomes executable file. So friends, let me run it now. Fine. Since, because there are two new line characters, I got 2 lines in between, hello and world. So how a C compiler works, is it clear, sir? Is this diagram clear to everyone? So people will ask you these questions in interviews, sir, what is object code? What is object code? Or they may say, what is the difference between object code and executable code? Object code extension is .obj, exe files extension is .exe, source code extension is .c. So this is .c file, this is .obj file, .executable file. So if someone is asking you a question, what is the difference between object file and executable file, can you answer it? In interviews, people will ask, maybe in Viva also someone might have asked you, can you tell the difference between object code and executable code now? Can you differentiate? Kindly let me know. Yes, that's great. Someone has responded. Fine. Okay, good, good. People are responding. Right. Now, slowly we will begin our programming journey, sir. As I told you, I'm not treating you as people who have good knowledge in programming. I'm teaching you everything as if I'm teaching you first time and as if you are learning programming first time. So I'll go in detail, and of course I'll be very, very slow also. I don't know how many classes I may take or I may get an opportunity to take, but slowly we will discuss, because if the basics are strong, down the line you can learn things on your own also. Of course, we are always available to support you, right? Now we will understand a very, very important, any doubts? What if we write our own UDFs, then the UDFs are the linkers? No, it was a good question, Manu. No, what actually happens is, let me show you this one. See here, I might have written a function something like this, void f1. Okay, and there is some code. something like this, and maybe I'll call F1 here. F1, F1, F1. I'll give the syntax void. Right. Now there is a user defined function called as F1, and let me run it. I'm in function F1 came. Now, when we compile our C program, compiler will generate object code as a step one, which includes machine code of my main function as well as all UDFs, sir. No doubt in that. All UDFs will also be converted into machine code in first step only. The second step contains linking. Linking. Where is the linker symbol available? This is the linker symbol. Do you know what this hash is called as? Hash is called as linker. This is a symbol which is called as linker. So where is hash symbol, sir? Hash symbol is before header file. So linker links the header files to your program. So even though there are UDFs, UDFs will also be converted into machine code in the step one. Means object code contains binary version of all the code written by you, and executable code contains binary code or binary version of the code written by you plus the header files machine code. So is it clear, Manu? Yeah. Now we will try to understand a very important concept called as data types, right? Because it's very important, because the two basic elements are code and data, and we will write code only to process data. So much before writing code, we should know how data is created, how it is stored, how many different types of data are permitted. So let us understand what is data type, right? So we will try to understand. I hope till this point concepts are clear. Data type. I am not going to ask you how many types of data types are there in C language, int, float, char. That list I don't want. Rather, what I want is I would like to know what is a data type, sir. It's a very important and fundamental concept, and everyone should understand the meaning of data type in its correct form, right? I'll be very happy. Treat it as an interview and please try to respond. What is data type? I would like to see who will give me the correct answer. Nothing wrong if your answer is wrong, but please make a habit of attempting. Nothing wrong if your answer is incorrect. Please respond. What is a data type? What do you think a data type is? Please type in the chat box. Don't hesitate. What is a data type? If you want to speak out, you can unmute and tell me what is a data type. What happened? None of you are responding. You don't know what is a data type? Manuraj, Pujita, Yusuf, Ishwar is also there. Bindu, are you there? Meghana, Madhuri, Harshvardhan, Siddharth Gaud. Oh, people started typing. It tells about the type of data. Oh, that's great. It tells about type of data, legal pool of operations to be done. Oh, that's great. That's great. You are absolutely right. So data type will tell, let me, it will tell three things to compiler. Okay, it will tell three things to compiler, sir. One is the type of data to be stored, legal pool of values. Legal pool of values means what type of data can be, what are the minimum and maximum values, legal pool of values. Then legal operations that are allowed on a type. So please try to understand the meaning of these three statements, sir. It's very important. Data type means most of the time we get the answer like data type means type of data. This is what people will tell in interviews. Data type will tell you three important things. It will tell three important things to the compiler, in fact. Type of data to be stored, right? What type of data is allowed in this so and so type. Legal pool of values. Legal pool of values means for every data type there is a size, right? Based on that size, we are getting a range, right? So that range, anything less than that or anything beyond that, I can't store. That is called as legal pool of values. And what are the legal operations that are allowed on a type, right? Legal operations means what operations can be performed on that particular data type, right? So see here, I'll give you some examples. Int x, int x. So for example, let us assume integer is 2 bytes. So 2 bytes means how many bits, sir? 2 bytes means how many bits? 2 bytes means how many bits? Yeah, type of value. Fine. 2 bytes means how many bits? 1 byte is 8 bits. 2 bytes means 16 bits. Right, Meghana, you are right. So please observe this carefully. So integer, int x, if integer is 2 bytes, 2 bytes means 16 bits, sir. Now you know very well, with 16 bits, how many different combinations I will get? 2 power 16. 2 power 16 means how much? 65,536 different combinations, different binary combinations we will get. So what is 2 bytes? 2 bytes means 16 bits. With 16 bits, how many different binary codes can be generated? 2 power 16. 2 power 16 means how much? 65,536. 65,536 different binary combinations you will get. What do you mean by that? Each combination can be used to represent one integer, right? So 65,536 different integers can be represented. Now, what do you mean by integers? Integers includes both positive and negative numbers. So this 65,536 will be divided into two halves, one for negative and another half for positive numbers. So what will be the range of integer? Minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Why 768 I did not get? Because of what is the range? Is the range correct or shall I write 768? 65,536 divided by 2 is 32,768, sir. So 2 halves, minus 32,768 2 plus 32,767, because 0 is there in between. So 768 I will not get in the positive side. So this is the range of integer numbers, right? This is the range of integers if int is 2 bytes. Till this point, is the story clear to everyone? Till this point, is it clear, my dear friends? Please let me know. That's great. Thank you, Siddharth. See, when you respond, it will give us some motivation, sir. We feel like, okay, you are there, because otherwise, I don't know whether you people are present or not. That's great. Thank you. So, what is this first point? Type of data. Okay, integer means integer can be stored. What is second point, sir? Legal pool of values. Legal pool of values means this is what is the range. Now tell me, if I write something like this, let us assume x integer is 2 bytes and I am trying to store something like this, minus 32,700 and sorry, 768, no, this is 86 I wrote. Minus 32,769, or maybe suppose I want to store 50,000. Imagine integer is 2 bytes and int x equal to 50,000. Immediately I will get an error, or if not error, I can't store this 50,000 because it is out of the range, because maximum biggest possible number is plus 32,767. If I try to store 50,000, what will happen? I can't store 50,000. So who will tell all these things to compiler? Data type will only tell. When I write int, tell three things to compiler. Hey compiler, only integers are allowed. First point. It will tell compiler, listen compiler, this is the range minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Means it will tell what are the legal pool of values, right? Anything beyond that or anything less than that can't be stored. And apart from that, for example, I wrote like this, sir. Right? Observe this carefully. Observe this carefully. Can I perform x into y, or can I perform x divided by y? Can I perform x divided by y? X is a string, y is a string. Can I perform x divided by y? Can I divide two strings a by b kind of thing? Can I divide two strings a by b? X by y kind of division can be done on strings? Please let me know. Is this division valid? X is Ram, x of 10, y is a character array, it contains Mohan. I want to perform x by y, or maybe x modulo y. These kind of operations are allowed. Yes, they are not allowed. Why they are not allowed? Because they are strings. What is string? It's a data type. So who will tell that this is a legal operation that can be done on this type and it can't be done? Data type tells this to compiler. So data type is very, very, very important. It conveys or it informs three very fundamental points to the compiler. What type of data, what are the legal pool of values, and what kind of legal operations permitted on that type. Otherwise, otherwise, your compiler will not know all these things. So data type is a very, very important concept. So the definition of data type is data type is a very important concept in programming. It tells or conveys three important things. It represents three important things to the compiler: type of data to be stored, legal pool of values, legal operations that are allowed on a type. These three things compiler will come to know from data type only. So when you say x by y is not possible, when your compiler objects it, why compiler is objecting? Because it based on the data type only. Compiler says, boss, they are strings and I can't divide them. So data type will only tell no what kind of operations are allowed, what operations are not allowed. That's the reason data type will tell three important things to compiler. Data type represents these three important things. So is the meaning of data type clear to everyone? Please let me know in the chat box. Then we will type a small program to see these three definitions, three important points with some small example. So is the data type concept clear to everyone? Yeah, that's great. Let us see a very small example now. Let me delete this. We will wind up in 5 minutes or less than that. Please don't feel bad. Right? See here, int x, printf, percentile d, size of, let me know how much size I will get for integer. CLR, SCR should not be there in the beginning. CLR, SCR will come here. Okay, let me run it. I just want to see what is the size of integer I'll get here. Oh, printf, right? 2 bytes, right? You have seen the size of integer is 2 bytes. Now what I will do is I will like to print the value of x, and what I'll give in x is equal to 90,000. So let us see whether compiler gives me any objection like, boss, it is illegal, or it will allow me. What will happen, we will see. So let me print, let me compile. So compiler did not flash any error, so I think it should come. I don't know, let me run the program. So friends, if you observe, I got a number 24,464. I did not get 90,000. So when I try to store value which is not in that range, I will not get any compilation error, but at the same time, I am not be able to see that correct value also. Means if it is beyond the range, it can't be stored. If it is beyond the range or less than the range, if it is less than the minimum value or more than the maximum value, it can't be stored. Right. That's okay. Now let us test for legal operations. Char x of 10 is equal to Ram. Char y of 10 is equal to Mohan. This is how we create character arrays. I want to perform x modulo y. Here, straight away compiler flashes an error saying that x mod y, illegal use of pointer, because when I'm talking about character array, it is x is nothing but now it's a pointer, right? Because it's an array of characters. It is x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, like that. Similarly, y is also a pointer, because string means a array of characters. Internally it uses pointer concept. And when I'm trying to divide two pointers, right, obviously it says, boss, it you can't divide. So why it is being not allowed, and why I got the error? Because I am doing an mathematical operation, or an operation, illegal operation, which can't be done on strings. So data type will tell, no, boss, I'm a string, so you can't perform modulo operation on me. So these are three important points with respect to data type, and I hope these three important points will remain forever in your mind, because it's very, very important. And let me know whether the concept of data types is clear to everyone or not. Of course, structure of program, such structure of C program and C compiler also were discussed today. Overall, just give me a quick feedback of today's class, if the things are clear or not. If you have any doubts, let me know, or else we will meet in tomorrow's class with a detailed discussion on data types. Please let me know before we wind up.